Do you want to get professionally hot tank parts but don't want to pay the big bucks? Then I'm going to show you how to make a hot tank at home for under 150 bucks. Welcome back, race fans. So today's video, as the intro said, is going to be talking about hot tanking. So what is hot tanking? Well, it's where you clean, grease and all the gunk off engine parts using hot, liquid, chemicals and some kind of agitation. Now, more often than not, you're going to have to go to a machine shop, a specialized place to get this done, because they use some pretty harsh chemicals. Now, that can become quite expensive. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you how to do a cheap version of this in your shop at home so that you can save some money. So what are we going to need? So, two ways to heat up the fluid. You can use a propane heater. You can buy like a little cradle propane burner and a gas tank. I personally don't want an open flame in my shop, so I'm going to go for something like this. This is a heating element out of a hot water tank that you find in your house. Now, I bought this pack that came with two thermostats from Amazon for $42.38, so fairly cheap. I'm probably going to use two of these elements. These are 240 volt, 4500 watt elements. So therefore you're going to need 240 volt power supply in your shop. Don't worry though, because if you don't have 240 volt, you can buy heating elements that use 110 volts. Only difference there will be it will take a lot longer for it to heat the water. So once you've got your thermostat and your elements, you're going to need some thick gauge wire. 10 or 8, I'm going to use 8. 240 volt plug. I got a little junction box which is going to go on the side of the container to ground it. I have a little tap that's going to go in the bottom so that I can empty it as and when I need it. Then you're going to need a container yourself. Lots of different things you can use. I've seen people use the aluminium trash cans from Home Depot. I'm going to use a 55-gallon steel drum, which I got for free. Now, there's lots of different varieties you can get. The drawback with that is they generally come with having something in it. I found one that had ethanol in it. Now, the best thing is it's been a while, all the ethanol had evaporated, so it's fairly clean inside to start with. But if it's not clean, it just means you have to clean it out. One drawback from getting this free one is it didn't have a lid, so I had to cut the top off, and that will be my makeshift lid. It probably would be easy if you found one with a lid on, but again, it was free. So let's have a look at the container. Alright, so this is my 55-gallon drum. As you can see, I've cut the top off. Probably have to go around and take off these burrs because it's pretty sharp. But the inside, just a little bit of rust, holds water, and there's no solution in here. I've seen ones that came with like plastic chemicals in it, food substances. Whichever one you get, you want to clean out. I cut the lid off, or the top off even, to be my lid. And I also bought this little dolly, so that when it's full of water, I could still move it around the shop and I don't have to keep emptying and wasting chemical. Okay, you might be able to see here, I marked where the top of the dolly goes, so that I can put the heating element above it, and therefore the dolly's not going to interfere with anything on the outside. So I'm going to put a heating element in this side, and then another one around the other side, and then probably the tap on this side. Okay, with the holes drilled for the elements and the tap, now we need to figure out the wiring. Plan's fairly simple. And we're going to put the 8 gauge into the 240. The 240 is going to come into this box and ground out here on the drum. Then I'm going to send the 240 to the thermostat, and then send in parallel power from the thermostat to the two separate heating elements. So first things first, we've got to wire this plug. Now, many of you may have not seen a 240 volt plug before. Basically, the way it works is green is going to be ground, then you have live 1 and live 2. So live 1 is going to be white and live 2 is going to be black. Alright, so the plug is all wired up. Now I've got to ground this out on the tank and then run the wires through the junction box all the way up to the thermostat. I'm going to put the thermostat towards the top of the tank because that's where it'll be coolest. So let's get on to that. Okay, so the wiring's complete. We have one element on this side, one element on this side, drain tap, we have a junction box with a ground in it, and then we have the thermostat wired. So now is to test it, is to put some water in above the elements and see whether it heats up. I've used glue, hot glue, to try and seal off any leaks. We had a few. I put the water up to about here just for a test. Got it plugged in, and I don't know whether you could see it from here. You can see the elements are bubbling. So I'm guessing that they're heating up. I just want to check the voltage on everything, so we'll do that and then get back to seeing what the temperature is. The tank is built. Let me just run you through what I've done. So we have the little dolly at the bottom, so we can move it around. I do have two elements plugged in this, but when I wired it and tested it, two elements was drawing too much power for my shop and it was tripping the breaker. So I have one element wired into a thermostat, grounded, then over to a 240 volt plug. We have a drain tap on the bottom. On the inside, you can see the two elements. I've left the other one in there because if one ever breaks, I can always just switch across to the other one. Then on the side, we have an air pressure regulator connected to some silicone hose, which goes down into the bottom of the tank with some holes in it, and hopefully that'll be enough to agitate the water. So now it's time to test it, so we'll get some water in there, get it heated up, and we'll see what happens. Okay, so we have filled up the tank halfway for a test. It is currently just under 11 degrees is the water. It's pretty cold. Let's test the air. So yeah, I'd say that agitates that fairly well, and that's on the lowest I can get it. So that's showing at about 6 psi. So I'm now going to plug it in and see how long it takes to heat up half a tank. We'll come back and check then. Alright, it's been half an hour. This one that's not connected is leaking. It's not really bad. It's about that much. Got a little bit of leakage out of the drain, and then the tiniest little bit out of this side. So overall, I'd say it's not too leaky, but let's have a look what the temperature has gone up by. Alright, so we're up to 32 degrees. What's that? That's 21 degrees in half an hour. So not too bad. The element is showing, still showing 32 degrees as well. So we'll leave it for a bit longer, see if we can get it up to temp. All right, let's have a look what the temperature is. 70 degrees. Awesome. So that is now perfect temperature for hot tanking. Let's fill it up and see how it goes. All right, so to test this, I have a baffle plate from a really dirty K-series. I have some really dirty K-series pistons, grimy and gross, and then I have a K-series oil pump that I'm going to use. So we're going to throw them in, and then we're going to put some chemical in. Everything's submerged. What we're going to do now is, first chemical I'm going to test is this simple green. It says industrial cleaner and degreaser. So I'm going to pour it all in. We're then going to attach the air, get the water moving, then leave it and see how well it cleans them. So we've got it bubbling, we've got the simple green in. We're going to leave it for a few hours and see how they come out. I'm thinking the pressure regulator might need to be higher because it's a decent agitation, but I don't know whether it's too much. But we'll leave it and see what happens. Test one didn't go very well. It leaked way more than I expected, and the water level when I got in this morning was down here. So obviously that has left everything exposed, so everything's rusted. Also the water was like boiling hot. Boiling hot water is not good. As far as stuff getting clean, nah, it's all predominantly just rusted. So obviously if the metal is wet and out of the water, it's just going to rust. So improvements needed are going to be sealing around the holes. Rather than use hot glue, because obviously the hot glue melts towards boiling, and all that happened was as this got hotter it melted the glue, and then that has obviously just quickened the leaking. So I'm going to try and seal the elements a little bit better, and we'll do test number 2. So after hot tank debacle 1, where it leaked out everywhere, boiled the parts, rusted them to shit, I tried to fill all the holes with JB Weld, and this is how it's held up. I filled the tank again, and that is the only leak. So I probably need to figure out where that's come from, throw some more in there. But this side, no leaks, and no leaks from the tap. Basically I have a aluminium Moroso oil pan that I want to use on the race car. So as you could tell, it's got bits in it, grime in it, and this had an engine let loose in it and it damaged all this here. You can see a bit of damage there where a piston, a rod went through the side of the block and it bent all this. We've straightened it, but I don't want to be putting this straight back on the car because it's baffled. I want to use it, but I don't want to put it back on the car with all this crap in the bottom. So I'm going to lightly hot tank this and go from there. Okay, so I've had it on for an hour, and again, only a tiny little leak, and outside is looking at 110, and the water itself 125. It's about as hot as you want to go for aluminium. And 3 key things when you're doing aluminium pieces: doesn't want to be as hot, you don't want it in for as long, you don't want the degreaser of a high concentration. So I'm going to throw the degreaser in, put the oil pan in, start a timer, and we're probably going to be looking at maybe 30 minutes with a little bit of agitation. So let's get on with it. Well, there she goes, she's bubbling. We'll put the lid on her, we'll start a timer, and we'll come back in 30 minutes. Okay, so I left it in for 1 hour. First things I can tell you is it is bloody hot. But instantly looking at it now, it instantly looks better. Right, let's look on the sides. Yeah, so the sides, that's coming off. The inside is really good. That is a piece of the old engine. That is what I'm hoping this cleaning got rid of. So it's good to go through and check this kind of stuff. Alright, I'll show you inside. So as you can see, it's way cleaner than it was. No more debris. I don't know what these spots are. I didn't know aluminium could rust. I don't think it is rust. The mating surface, little areas where it's still got some RTF on, but those can be scraped off. The baffles, nice and clean. Now, whenever you're cleaning any kind of aluminium, and metal for that matter, once you've got it out of the solvent, solution, cleaning, degreaser, that's when you have to give it a good rinse down. So I'm going to take this outside and blast it with a hose, but I think that is a pretty successful test of the hot tank. And ignore all the water over here. I turned up the air too much. This tiny little bit here is all that leaked. So I think I've got a good hot tank. I just got to put a bit more JB weld on that. And there you go, guys, a hot tank at home.
So how much did all this cost? Well, let's break it down. Element and thermostat I got from Amazon for $42.65. The 55-gallon drum came free. The tap at the bottom was $29.50 from Home Depot. The amount of wiring I needed was $16 from Home Depot. The 240-volt plug was $19 from Home Depot. The regulator from Home Depot was at just over $20, and the hose was $15. When you add this all up, this all came to under $150.
You can make something like this at home very quickly and clean all your own engine parts. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time.